I'm going to show you how row totals and grouping records is not only an interesting way to view your information, but also prevents unnecessary export of data in many scenarios. This is the 5th video in our Hidden Gems series for Dynamics 365, and my personal favorite. Let's get started. Welcome to one of the best hidden features in Dynamics. But it is also one of the most useful little gems. There are 3 elements to this: counting rows, grouping rows, and showing totals. When you look at a list page, like our customer page, it is sometimes interesting to know how many records exist in the list. How many customers do we have? Maybe you want to export the information and want to check the volume is not too prohibitive. To the right-hand side of the grid is an additional hidden menu behind the 3 dots. Select this and choose the Show Footer option. We now see a footer appear with a count of the total rows displayed. Very useful. If we now navigate to the customer transactions, we can also activate the footer in the same way. Once activated, the option will remain on. The only real disadvantage of leaving this on is that it uses screen real estate, a little like the fact boxes we saw in the previous exercise. On some transaction lists where the volume is larger, Dynamics will not calculate the quantity of rows unless you ask it to. This is purely a performance management constraint. Here, I've moved to the voucher transactions list, which in a normal production environment will quickly run to tens of thousands of records. We can see the Calculate button. I'll run the Calculate so you can see it in action. You will see it quickly runs into several hundred records. The speed of the calculation in your production environment will vary, but if the calculation is running to several thousand records, you should perhaps consider setting a filter to limit your computation. I'll cancel this one. For our next trick, we are back on the customer transactions. If you use your right-click option on a number field, there will be an option to show column totals. Extended from this is a further option to choose the type of total you want. I'll select Sum. The total of all transactions on this account is shown, which is of course, the customer balance. The final hidden tool on this screen is the ability to group records. Customer transactions provide a great example of this, with the transaction type field. Point at the transaction type field, right-click, and select Group by this column. We can now expand or summarize each transaction type to gain a deeper insight of the data. If you want to keep this view, you will need to save it via the View menu. There is a full lesson on this function on our channel, but for now I'll quickly show that you can save the view with a particular name, so it is available for you next time you come to this screen. Now that I've saved it, I can select that view from the options next time I need it. So that concludes our rows, totals and grouping lesson. Next up is the shortest video in this playlist of hidden gems, showing how the action pane search works. You can link directly from here.